Welcome back, YouTube. We've been discussing in the last few videos how my family had built financial security and wealth for themselves, and how a lot of writers and stuff that you read today are using some of the same tactics that my great-grandpa used, like Robert Allen. You know, he talks about multiple streams of income and how my grandpa just kept turning on income streams. He would use one, he'd take that one and turn it into two. He'd take those two and turn it into three. He'd take those three and turn it into four. And he just kept building and building and building. And he lived way below his means. He didn't need a whole lot. He wasn't very materialistic. I ain't either. I'm not very materialistic. Other than I like to go places. I like to go see things. It's about the biggest materialistic thing about me is liking to travel. And good food. Good food is a huge thing for me too. I spend a lot on food. Probably more than I should. We're coming up on the Tatum Davis house. Just see a corner of it here. You may see it again on the way back. This is where a feud was fought years ago. My great-grandpa told me about it. It was his uncle and his cousins there. They were there. And the people they were feuding against, they got across the road. They started drinking and excuse me. They were drinking and old man Tatum, which was also my grandpa's name, by the way, because he was named after his uncle. He said they're getting liquored up and they're shooting. They'll come for us about dark. So when it started getting dark, he went through and blew out all the lanterns. And it was him and his sons there. I can't remember, one was named James, one was John. Can't remember all their names. But when the shooting started, they killed all of them over there on the other side, as far as I know. There might have been some get away or some wounded or something, but as far as I can remember, they were all gone. And then, of course, because the law being what it was in those days, even though they were in their own property and got attacked, the law was kind of crooked and they just come do whatever, A lot of the sheriff's deputies and stuff was in on the moonshine trade and everything else. Right here's the store from the movie, but it's not the true store. I think that store does have blood on the counter too, but the old store really had blood on the counter, where the guy was shot inside the store and he laid him up there on the counter to work on him, and he died. And he was still stained. But anyway, James was one of them, and he hid out underneath a rock house for a while from the sheriff and from the people that they were feuding with. And my great-grandpa had the task of bringing him food every day and water and checking on him. And one morning he got down there and found him. He was dead. He'd been shot 6 or 7 times in the head. 7 times, because I think in those days they just had 6-shot revolvers. And my grandpa went to town or whatever and to get the sheriff, and it took the sheriff 3 days to get out there and look at him. When they got out there, of course, he's done swelled up or whatever else. The sheriff ruled it a suicide because I guess my family's so tough that we can shoot ourselves in the head 6 or 7 times and still live through it, But it's crazy. But it just showed the type of corruption that was rampant back in those days. And here's my great-grandpa trying to build a life for himself and his family in the midst of the Great Depression, the moonshine wars going on, the feuds and everything else. And that's the kind of stuff that he had to compete with. One of my great-grandpas seen a carpetbagger come through town, shot him and killed him. Right here's a church. This is the schoolhouse too. This is where I don't know if you'll get to see it or not, maybe on the way back through, but it's where part of the movie was filmed at. You can get that movie on Amazon. It's Borderlines. It's the name of the movie. But there's a Powell Cemetery. But anyway, what was I saying? Found him shot all those times, and it was supposedly a suicide. But I mean, it was corrupt. That's this kind of stuff that my great-grandpa had to deal with when trying to build his stuff. I don't know where this road ends. I ain't been out here in a long time. Liable to get shot myself for being out here. With all the dope growing right now. Don't want to get out here and get shot. But anyway, you think you have obstacles in your path to building your wealth. You think you have all these things going against you. We're not in the midst of the Great Depression. We very well could be soon, another Great Depression. We just came out of the Great Recession, true. But every generation that's accomplished anything has done so in the midst of some kind of trouble, some kind of hardship. And when you realize that, you'll realize how important it is to keep going no matter what the obstacle, to overcome. I'm going to turn around here in the state maintenance. I don't want to get shot. Last thing we'll do is get out here and get killed and buried in a hole somewhere. You'll be building wealth on them, will you? And I'm not anti-gun. I think everybody ought to own a gun. That Sterling Dishman there, he probably wouldn't shoot you. Pretty good guy. But anyway, you think you have we think we see all this all these obstacles coming our way when we're trying to build wealth. With the World Economic Forum and basically the communist takeover of the world, and we think, oh man, how are we ever going to have anything? You know what? The people of old done it somehow. Somehow they made a business, or they did something that provided for them and provided income and wealth. And we will too. I don't know how easy it'll be, but nothing worth having is easy. You know, Robert Kiyosaki, he's like, you got to have cash flow. Cash flow is king. And he's right, 100%. You got to have that cash flow. Because if you just have a big bunch of money sitting there in the bank, you will eventually go through it. The market goes up and down. Say it's all invested in Facebook or whatever. The market goes up and down, then you lose part of it. Or all of it. Not saying Facebook's a bad investment. They just recently became a $1 trillion company, so that's a heck of an accomplishment. But it's a whole lot easier of an accomplishment when the dollar's basically devalued. There's the corner of the church, you see, the old church and the old schoolhouse. It's a beautiful country from down in here, where my people's from. It's a hard life down here too. Most people moved out, moved closer to town. People started becoming less self-reliant. More people started wanting jobs. Changed a whole lot of things. Back to Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And there's a lot of speculation about if it's a true story or whatever, what have you. He's tried to vindicate it by bringing people on the show and name changes and all kinds of stuff. And I don't know if it's a true story or not, or it's just, one time he just broke down and said, it's just symbolic, or whatever, made them up, whatever, however, who knows, I don't know. What I do know is what he's telling you is right for the most part. I don't know if you need to be in cash flow real estate, how long that'll work in every area because of the communist takeover. But I do know that you got to have that money flowing in. You can't just have that big pile of cash. You got to have assets coming in. You got to have assets that produce that cash flow. Because if you just have stocks, like growth stocks, and you have to sell them all off, that's not cool. Because once you sell your asset, you no longer have it. Over there is a fish pond. It used to be a pay lake. Looks like they've got it all shut off now. It's a beautiful area down in here. Once again, past the old store. Some beautiful homes down in here. I really like this area. I like the people a lot. Any people you mess with, though, you don't want to make them mad. It's history will tell you. But anyway, he goes through his entire book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, discussing how the dollar's depreciating, why you want to save it, and why you want to buy assets, and what's an asset and what's a liability. That's one of the things I've discussed a lot too, is what are liabilities. Cars, razors, boats, all these kind of things are liabilities. And they are huge suckers of your income and huge wealth stealers over the long run. Coming up on this house over here on the right, that is the old Tatum Davis house. That's where the shootout happened there. I don't know who owns it now. Someone else owns the house. It don't look like it did back in the day. The original store sat here on my left. There used to be flagpoles up there. Used to be flagpoles up there where the old store sat. Bill Davis, I believe, was the name of the store owner. Oh, we're behind some tractors. It's all good. We don't care. Back in behind that house there's a cemetery where my great-grandparent, my great-great-grandparents, and my great-great-great-grandparents were buried. With all those shrubs up that road to it. Once again, what's your thoughts on that? What do you think? Think real income will get you through retirement with the Great Reset and all that stuff that's going on there? Or do you think we need to be looking at other things? Do you think they'll come after dividend stocks in the same manner that they have real estate? I don't know. I don't know either. Once again, please hit the like button. Please comment. Please subscribe. Please listen to the podcast on Spotify, Breaker, PocketCast, RadioPublic. I did that last time too. If you'd like to be on the show, on the podcast, contact us on Your Wealth Plan Podcast on Instagram or Facebook. We would like to have you as a guest on our show. We're also toying with something that we could get on Spotify and do like an open thing, it's a new thing that Spotify's got out that we're part of. We've been invited to join, where you can open up a live room and have live chat conversations. Be looking into doing that here soon. Be looking forward to having people on. Just get in there and just discuss wealth building tactics, things that we can do, maybe even stocks or whatever. Just get in there and discuss some stuff live. Well, thanks for watching. Please like, please subscribe to the podcast. Y'all have a great day. God bless.